on Friday as a reminder for something that's happening. We have that in place. I did some experimentation with the IFTTT.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and really, the one I chose to do because I use an iPad a lot at home, and well, I use it both at home and at work, and I've got a Flickr account where I'm trying to figure out how to get the photos when I take a photo using my iPad or using any of my devices that I've got on that, using that same Google or the Apple ID. It goes into that photo stream, including my kids are out there too. What I want to do is preserve those pictures. So what I want to do is take them, make a copy of what's on the photo stream and put it in my Flickr account, which is kind of an archive place for photos. And I did get that to work. I haven't taken a lot of pictures since I got it set up, but I did 3 or 4 times experimenting to see how it worked. But I got that to work. So the other thing I'd like to try now is with the iPads that we have at the juvenile home. The kids go out on field trips and things, and they take pictures using the iPads. And then, they're offline; they're not on the internet at that time. But when they come back into the building, they connect up, and all that information, their pictures are on a photo stream. Cool. And I set up just an account, a Flickr account out there, thinking that might be a good place to store some of the pictures from the field trips that the kids have taken over time. Just kind of put them out there just for future use, maybe. I don't know. So a lot of times they'll use them in a PowerPoint when they get back, but after that they kind of just sit there. And it's kind of neat to go back and look at. I found some from last year that have been saved on memory cards and stuff. And I uploaded a few of those and a few pictures I took just around the building and outside the building and stuff. Websites and stuff. I threw all those in there. It's a good holding place for that, but it'll kind of just pull them off the iPads as we go, and I won't have to go in there and deal with 45 pictures and move them all around.
Right.
And have to physically touch every each iPad or whatever. So that's kind of how I plan to apply that. And I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'll work into things there. Let's see what else did I do here. Oh, I looked at the to-do lists in Google and then using Todoist, and I kind of like the Todoist format.
Okay.
So I've been using that for a couple weeks.
Okay.
I think, and I kind of like that. I get to prioritize things and kind of pretty easily bump things over to the next day if I don't get to it, or move ahead wherever I need to. Get an email every morning that shows what to-dos are planned for the day. Just every morning. I've got it set up so I've got a little button that shows up in your email account. Or if you're looking at an email or something and you want to make that email a task, you can click that button that opens up Todoist and you make the appropriate settings in there. So when you expect to achieve it, and what group or tag you want to put out, what project, that kind of thing. So I've done some of that. And,
it definitely has more bells and whistles than Google, the task stuff.
And I looked at Google first because I thought I wanted to keep that integration there. This thing really is pretty
seamless.
Yeah. So that has worked out. It's worked out good. I enjoy using that. It's kind of neat. Less paper kind of thing. Respect the paper all over the place. Don't have that so much now. And what was the last one here? This was the one that I didn't get to call autocraft. And again, I think I talked about this like 2 or 3 different times, and even in the last session.
It takes time.
Yeah, I'd like to get with the iPad application, the teachers submit those into the spreadsheet. I'd like to be able to automatically send out a response to them saying, okay, your request has been done. It's all on the iPad. We're all ready to go. Okay. Do the automation of that. But I'm nowhere near.
Well, I think
they're ready to do that. So
I think the good news is, once Chris has to break away here soon to start our meeting, but once that's done, I think we can probably work just on autocraft, and that needs some really small group focus instead of the tough ones. I should mention too that we're recording this for anybody who needs to watch this after the fact. So like I know Lynn, obviously isn't here. She's in Lansing. Dr. Lunger isn't here. So anything you say or do is so. That's right. That's right. So Chris, you're not. You can't really see it. It's kind of weird that we're doing a Google Hangout with you up here, but then I have my laptop over to my left that is set up and that is recording a Google Hangout on air for people in this room. So we just have probably way more technology than anyone would ever need going on. But we're in the Solution Center, so we're just making solutions happen. So, okay, so let me see here. I sent you guys an email just about things that I wanted to talk about today. You know, talk about what were some of the things that you focused on during this session, what were some struggles. But I'm also curious what feedback you might have, and you can put it on the evaluation form as well. But I thought it'd be good to share feedback because somebody else might think that was silly and not put it in the evaluation. But if somebody else says it, then it's has a lot more meaning. So I know Dr. Lunger, he told me that this session in particular, he kind of wasn't feeling it as much as the first session in terms of being able to see an immediate use for automating routine tasks, for example. He felt with the first session that there was more of a connection. He could see a use right away of some of the tools. This one he thought was a little bit more of a stretch. So that was kind of his unofficial feedback to me. I don't know what you guys have found for this module. I mean, keep in mind, it's the first time we've done it, so we'd love, you know, how can we do it better? So. Chris?
Well, you're all looking at me, so I thought that.
Yeah, that's right. Go.
Well, we just want to honor the amount of time you have, so.
So, I found it immediate use in the blocks and people, the cloud appointments and people, and do that right away, jump right on that. Tried the Google task, didn't like it, switched over to my phone, wanted to get to do it like Jim said, and it still sounds like I want to get to that, because I like the idea that sending emails, knows what to do. Okay, so I'd like to learn more about that, but I found immediate use in the automation of tasks, not so much in the collaboration, because I already collaborated on, I mean, I use Hangouts a lot, and I'm just trying to use it better. And more efficiently. So, but I did use the editing thing. I hadn't learned about that, so that was something, but I haven't used it yet. What we did more is collaboratively build a document, and you know, share it. So, yeah, I thought I didn't go to the first one, so I thought this one rocked.
Oh, cool. Eddie, I know you're kind of coming in a little bit.
Just, you know, looking, because I did see, I observed the first face-to-face, like, kind of like through a recorded session. And I would say that probably some of the things that you were talking about that I want to get into more deeply would be much more immediate use to me.
Okay.
You know, the boomerang and using that, you know, for me, kind of, because something will come in from MDB and then it's kind of like, okay, this is not due until then, so I don't want to lose it in my pile, but using it that way. And I've used a little bit of the IFTTT, but I want to learn how, I mean, I really want to dig deeper into a lot of these tools. And I think for me, more the amount of time, and it just happened, this period of time, you know, in my schedule, you know, stuff going on.
Gotcha.
That has pulled me away. And so I haven't been able to dig in as deep as I would like to. So I'd almost like to just kind of like hunker down and really dig into some of this stuff.
So since we are recording a face-to-face session, I'm curious, how did that go when you watched the recorded face-to-face session?
It was pretty good. It was just a little bit difficult when you had some, I mean, when people were talking, it's hard to hear some people.
Okay.
That was the only, you know, the only thing.
Okay. Could you see the screen?
No.
Okay, yeah, I
No,
figured that was kind of
because that was the other thing, because I
Done
wrote down some notes, you know, just kind of feedback. Yeah, the screen is difficult to see. I can see the people.
Right.
But.
Okay. Well, for those that are watching this later, you're gonna be able to see if we can see the TV with it, so maybe we'll make some improvements on the first face-to-face. So I know that we're gonna be looking at a TV here versus a screen that's kind of far away, so we'll do a better job. Jim, thoughts on things that we might do to improve? That you
Yeah, I found a lot of useful stuff here. I thought it was more, well, Boomerang and some of the other things a little bit easier to kind of figure out. But I know the IFTTT and the AutoCrat were really, those are some kind of weedy programs or whatever in there.
Yeah.
And that's where I wish I would have kind of started out with the AutoCrat. I kind of pushed that off because I wanted to do it first, and then I kind of ran out of time. So, you know, here I sit with not a whole lot done. You know, hoping I can get some pointers on where to look and what to do so I can go back and look at it. There's just a lot. I know IFTTT is just kind of Googling out there, and there's all kinds of sites you can go through that have recipes kind of pre-created there. So you can look at them and tell you what they do, here's how it's set up, and that kind of thing. So that was really kind of neat to explore some of that, but it requires a little bit of study on that to figure out how it works.
I agree. Yeah, I think that that was one of the concerns we had going into this was AutoCrat is really cool, and so is IFTTT, but I think of all the tools that we're going to look at between all three sessions, AutoCrat by far is the most technical. And so I know that we had some folks, particularly Lynn, Dr. Lunger, I'm sure and you have this too, who are working with folks, perhaps they have an assistant that they work with, and so trying to wait, okay, so do I need to do this, or is this something that I could give this to somebody else to figure out? Perhaps the person that was in these sessions wouldn't be the person who designed that. It may be perhaps their administrative assistant or something like that. So that's hard. That was a tough part as well. So any other stuff that you have, feel free to put it on the evaluation. Like I said, we know, Melinda and I know that this is certainly a trial course. We're going to do it again, but feedback would be helpful. I wanted to, and I got an email. Let me see that I want to share with you guys because it's kind of right in line with what we're talking about here. All right, Chris, I am going to email this out to everybody. And Dr. Lunger, I will email it to you as well. And we should do Lynn. Lynn, I will email it to you as well. So one of my big takeaways from this PD has been realizing how hard the word efficiency is for me to spell. I think I spell it wrong every single time. All right. So Chris, I just sent that your way, and I'm going to open it up here for the people to see. It's a long article. I don't think that we need to, get into it entirely. However, actually, Chris, I'll go ahead and share my screen so you can see what we're looking at as well. So I actually ran across this article on Facebook. I've got a friend who teaches at Indiana Wesleyan University, and she's pretty amazing. She teaches, she's just got done writing her second book. So she's got she's kind of always posting about how she's got a great exams and trying to get these chapters done and all this stuff. So one of the things that this guy talks about, his first thing is that to-do lists are evil. And I read that and I thought, oh boy, one of the tools that we have kind of focused on is Todoist, which is a to-do list. So this guy's rationale for hold on 1 second, guys. So one of the things that this guy recommends is basically, he says, Todoists can be kind of evil because if you are, and I completely understand where he's coming from. If emails are coming in, and for most of us, emails are either questions that we have to respond to or things that we have to do. I think that's a pretty easy way to categorize them. So if usually we respond to the emails pretty quickly that are just questions, those are easier to respond to. I know for me, I found myself a lot of times going through and saying, okay, this is a to-do, so I would add it to Todoist, and I would respond to just the questions. And I felt pretty good about that because my email, I was taking care of my email, but what was happening was my to-do list over here was growing and growing and growing, and I never really carved out time to look at my to-do list and do the things on that list. So what I ended up with was feeling like, these are all my emails, but I still feel like I'm constantly trying to get caught up because I have all these things on my to-do list. So this person's suggestion is to schedule everything. So I'll kind of share with you how, when I read this, how I kind of took that to heart and what I've done. And it might not work for folks. So for example, let's see, I don't know what kind of emails we got here. All right. So let's say right here that this email right here. So this is something I have to do for Coldwater Schools. I have to do something in Skyward with some of their data. So what I've been doing is I've been going to More, Create Event. So it takes that email and it opens up an event on my calendar. Now what I usually have to do is in another tab, I usually have to open up my calendar. Let's try this. So what I can do is, in this tab, I've got my thing that I need to do, and then I've got to pick a date and a time. So I look at my calendar and I say, okay, well, when is there time in my schedule to do this? It's good for you guys to see this because I don't really have a ton of time. So I'm just going to say, okay, today at 4 o'clock is what I'll try to get to that. In my appointment today at 4 until 5, I'm going to work on this. It takes the text of the email and it puts it right in the description. Over here, the one thing that it does that I have to remember to undo is it takes anybody who's included in the email and it adds them as guests to an appointment. So I actually go ahead and I'm going to remove the 2 guests from the appointment. I don't want to send that to somebody else. I scroll down and I make this red. So anything on my calendar that's red is actually a task that I've scheduled time for. Now, I can tell you, this is certainly pie in the sky because I don't always have time to do this. So I've had to be realistic that usually when somebody emails me about something, I can say, yep, I'll get to it right away. Now I at least have an idea of how much time am I going to have to commit to it, and so I might say, hey, is it okay if I get this to you by next Tuesday? And so it's in a couple things. One is it's giving me a realistic view of how much time I'm getting. Yeah, are you there?
You put it on your regular calendar, or you put it on like a specific calendar, like I have a regular calendar and a night calendar.
Yeah.
I have a different calendar.
You know, if Melinda were here, I'd be curious to see what she said about this. I put it on my regular calendar for a couple reasons. One, I would need to make sure that both calendars were turned on all the time on my desktop, which that's not really that difficult to do. I would also need to make sure that both calendars were turned on my phone, which wouldn't be difficult to do. I also kind of like that if somebody were to search for a meeting spot for me, those times that I've blocked out actually come up as unavailable. And so, like, for example, Mike Oswald, if he sees something that's a task and he needs to have a meeting with me, then he sends it anyway, which is totally fine because he kind of knows, you know, that's time that I blocked off to do some stuff, but he kind of overrides that, which I understand. So I don't know. Yeah, you could do it either way though. Just making sure that you have both turned on would be the key part. Does that make sense?
You guys, I'm gonna sign off because our meeting, people are coming in.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, morning, thanks for letting me join for a little bit.
Yeah, no problem, Chris. Have a good meeting. Thanks for joining.
Okay, see ya, bye.
You gotta get connected? Okay. Let me see. Here. Let's see. You have any connected?
Yeah, I'm gonna choose the CSD style.
Okay.
That would be my laptop, that's what I usually get on the iPad. I mean, go with it, maybe it's not considered a mobile device. No, no, laptop, right?
This, yeah,
It doesn't make any
I'm not
difference.
sure.
I don't know either.
It's considered here.
See, it's not seeing the. Okay, so when you connect to CISD guest, it's asking you for.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, you're about to yes. Turn this off and turn it back on. Try to enter your normal password. So I would enter, you just switch your number from your chat from your password.
That's okay. Just continue on now.
Are you
I
sure?
will, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said, this is something that I've found works for me as far as scheduling tasks. But yeah, maybe check out that article that I sent, because it kind of it challenged the way that I do to-do lists, because I don't always schedule time. I usually just say, yep, I can do that.
Yeah,
Yep, I
right,
can do
right.
that. And I have no idea what I'm committing to. There are some things in here that will be a lot more difficult for me, mainly do a few things, but be awesome at them. Sometimes I feel like, I try to be pretty good at all the things that I do, but there's just sometimes when you can't say, nope, I'm not going to do that. Sorry.
And I think that across the board is hard, because it's kind of like you want to do everything awesome.
Right.
And so it's like, in reality,
Right.
and I say it quietly because I still am hoping it will.
No. Yeah, it's interesting. And then the fifth one, do less shallow work. Focus on the deep stuff. They make the argument that a lot of the work that we do is pretty shallow. I think that kind of goes hand in hand with what you say yes to. I know that, and I'm sure we're a service organization, so to us it may seem like shallow work, but to the district, the other folks that we're supporting, it may seem like pretty deep work, because
Right.
because of I look at data stuff. People who just aren't friendly with data think that some little tasks might be monumental. But one person's shallow work could be somebody else's abyss. So the thing too that I liked about this was number 2. You probably heard of backwards design when it comes to curriculum work. This person argues about backwards design. So assume you're going home at 5:30, plan your day backwards. Obviously, if the entire day is filled with meetings, that's a little tough to do. But so anyway, I saw that, and it challenged some of my thoughts about organization. So shared it with you. This would be something a little bit more advanced. But in addition to marking my tasks as the color red, I also have set up a filter through Gmail. So what that means is anything that comes into Gmail, if it fits certain criteria, something else is going to happen. So it's almost kind of like IFTTT, but with Gmail. So what I've done is anything that has the word task in the subject line is going to be starred and moved to the top of my inbox.
All right, so how do you get it? How do you get there again?
So this one, remember we went to the email and then we went to creative. Yeah, sure. Talking is not teaching.
See, when I click on more, the only more I have is marked as unread.
Oh, so click on an email. Okay, I should go into an email.
Okay. All right. And then, okay.
So then I created the event. And then when I created the event, all I added to the title was the word task at the beginning. And then, let me go to my inbox so you can see what I mean here. See in my inbox how up at the top, I've got my stuff that's starred. And so here I've got task. Those tasks stay up at the top. So granted, I kind of haven't gotten away from a task list. What happened here, these were 2 tasks that I wanted to get done yesterday, but a couple fires came up. And so
They're still
on my list. Exactly. Exactly. So what I did to do that filter is I went to settings, a little gear, and then settings. And for those watching, I'm going to go ahead and just turn this up towards the TV probably for the rest of the time so that you guys can see what we're doing up here. So there is this filters button. So we click on filters, and you can create a new filter. So that's something, in other words, something comes in, it contains some term or something, you can action will happen. So I know that when I add things to my calendar, I'm going to get an email reminder 10 minutes before it happens. That's something that's automatically set up within Gmail. And you guys are familiar with using it.
Yeah.
It could be handy. So I know that in the subject line of the email, it's going to have whatever the event is titled. That's going to be the subject. Reminder, you've got, I think it's administrators in 10 minutes or whatever. Yeah. So in this, right here for my filter, I'm going to say any email that comes in with the word task in the subject, I want to do something with. Go ahead and create filter with this search. And now it says, well, what do you want to do? Well, I chose the star. And so then I can go to create filter, and now anything that comes into me with the word task is going to be star. Now I do believe under settings, under configure inbox. If Melinda were here, she would know this right away. Your star messages automatically go to the top of your inbox? No. So that there's a setting that I have. Inbox. Inbox type. There we go. So inbox type.
I'll start first.
Star first. There it is. So I went to the settings and then inbox and then star first. Cool. So that can be something that if you want to look into today, during the last hour or so, you could definitely look at that. What is cool about this as well is, let's say that HEA emails me something and it's a task, and I start, and then I email her back and say, okay, I think I have the first draft done, take a look and let me know what you think. If she emails me back, that conversation is still started, so then it would come back into my inbox and go up to the top because it's started. So just because you reply, it doesn't lose the star. So that's kind of cool. That's one thing. I mean, like I said, if we look into future weeks, you'll be able to see that I don't have a ton of open space to put red texts. So this week was actually kind of an anomaly that I had space to put that stuff. But at least I have a realistic view. So. All right. So go ahead. All right. So I think Jim's, well, Hetty's stepped out. If we want to take time, and when she gets back, we can do this. If you guys want to take time right now, do this once evaluation, we can do that. That's fine. And I wanted to give you, here's the sign-in sheet for today. And then if you wanted sketches, if you don't have them checking right now, we can do it later.
Okay. But I know I've got a $20 bill. And it's been changed.
Okay.
It's what, 15?
Yeah. And if we wanted to, we could probably get change from Deb, but it's up to you.
Okay.
Maybe that 15 was lunch, so it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Sure. So you think, yeah, we want to do the evaluation, and then the last hour we can spend time on AutoCrat, if you want to set up the filters, email, what's up?
Yeah, I don't know about Eddie. I don't spend some time on it.
Okay, it's until she did too, so, yeah, okay.
I was just looking at stuff. Once you went through there, there's enough to learn to do. Setting up the filter and then getting the start stuff at the top. It's like,
Yeah,
it's just,
the big aha for me was, I am, but it's okay. Yeah.
What exactly is that? Because Mike just emailed me, so to reserve all 4 rooms, and he wants to reserve them and go to them for lunch. Who's lunch? How do you want everything set up?
Can I? Okay, so set up,
Just you want tables only, so the vendors can use tables?
so we're gonna have, I think maybe 100 to 120 or so
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
So I would ask the Career Center how they recommend setting up the tables to accommodate that many people.
In the office room?
Yeah.
They know in the garden center, Mike said, make sure there's tables and chairs for 120 people, because we're gonna have lunch. You just call them up and that's what they do. So I'm just,
Honestly, I would say set up in the garden room for as many people as you can. I know that those tables, that they have to typically hold 4 people for the table.
that doesn't make it cost that many people that room, but I don't.
Yeah, we may have to just have them set up the garden room for as many people for lunch as possible, and then
Okay.
overflow seats and then offer.
Okay. And just have like, I don't know how it's set up, but you don't know how many vendors or anything.
2 vendors.
2 vendors, okay.
Yeah. But
So now you're gonna use the front 2 screens.
yeah, we're using front 2 screens, but each vendor it's gonna take 60 minutes. So they're not gonna be presenting, I mean, the hub on time slot.
All right,
So I would say
I just don't like tell 10 people, but well,
for the vendors,
I don't know.
I don't think the vendors can table.
No, nothing at all. Okay.
All the stuff good to do.
So, just chairs and the,
I would have them set up the all-purpose rooms.
the tables too.
Yeah, I would do tables because
It's
they're
in
the
a
ones.
front, and I think they can get 5 to a table. Is that, or
I
is it
think
any longer?
I think you do 6,
6, okay.
perhaps. So just having,
Okay. For
I would say as
120
many
tables?
tables as possible.
Okay, then it's just updates on that.
Okay.
Microphones and then, you know, who like Sue or what food we
I
have.
know Sue got Continental for lunch last time,
Okay, there's nothing on the,
which would be fun. Honestly, Continental would be fun.
okay, please, hopefully she'll be back. She'll be back tomorrow, but who knows.
If you end up ordering lunch before she gets back, I would email them your
I
idea.
know.
And then,
All right, thank you.
you. All right. Everything good?
And so, we're doing an email here. These are the high efficiency, because I got a tab on there, I don't even use this one. So how do I-
If you open a new tab. And then, it's online. You can click on it online.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Online learning, so you're taking word learning.
Okay.
Are you a big fan of like Tiffany Blue?
Okay.
That was my wife, my wife. That was my wife.
Oh, really? Okay. My daughter just moved out. They got her own place, her own house. And her walls are just out. I'm just gonna move them.
Our bedroom was like that.
Is it really? So I'm gonna.
We're up our room right now. Well, we accepted an offer a couple days ago,
Mhm.
and we put an offer in the house the same day. So the timeline right now, for everything goes through, we'll find out today if the offer is accepted. The timeline is December 19th.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Dr. T and Lynn, I think what I'm going to do, because I'm realizing now that you can see the TV, but since it's recording, it's backwards. So you would be looking for the next hour at a backwards TV. I don't see how that could be possible. So I think I'm going to cut this off, and we can meet for an hour face-to-face, just the three of us. I think that would make a lot more sense for folks. So this is us signing off, and I will touch base with you soon.